Hey everyone, it's Friday, August 8th. You're watching CBC News BC. I'm Benita Brach. We're here in the Vancouver newsroom. Here's what's happening this afternoon. Well, Ambulance Paramedics of BC is calling for an inquiry into the suicide deaths of 4 members this year. The union says stress and trauma from the job is contributing to an unprecedented level of mental health claims. One retired paramedic says while there are resources available for staff in crisis, they need to be strengthened.
I personally have had a counselor, a mental health professional, tell me to stop the session because the information I was giving them was way too graphic, and it didn't go well. They didn't like it, And I know this has happened several times to other people as well, where the trained professional is telling you to stop because they can't. It's just overloading them.
BC Emergency Health Services says it's working on an action plan for more resources that staff are asking for. And the latest jobs report highlights a tough summer. The Canadian economy lost more than 40,000 jobs in July. That's sinking the share of people employed to an 8-month low. Among the hardest hit are young people between the ages of 15 to 24. Statistics Canada says they lost 34,000 positions last month, while the employment rate for the age group fell to 53.6%. That is the lowest since November 1998, outside of the COVID-19 pandemic. Overall, the unemployment rate has held steady at 6.9%. Sectors that are hardest hit include the information, culture, and recreation industry, construction and business building, and support services. The cooler weather this week has helped BC wildfire fighters put out more than 150 wildfires. But the BC Wildfire Service says this weekend, warmer weather is returning, which will increase those dry conditions in landscapes and increase that fire risk too. Some gusty winds are also expected, which could help existing wildfires grow. Overall, there are about 104 wildfires now burning, with 7 new starts in the past day. The only fire of note is the Wesley Ridge fire on Vancouver Island at Cameron Lake. That fire is mapped at 5.7 square kilometers. And multiple search and rescue agencies came together to help save a pair of Australian rock climbers. The terrifying moment as they were stuck on that sheer rock face of Yak Peak near Hope this week. They were hanging mid-face from that 2,100-meter peak. North Shore Rescue says the climbers were able to call for help when they got into trouble, and it stresses the importance of being prepared.
One of the climbers did lose consciousness for probably about 15 seconds or so immediately after he fell. He did regain consciousness and was feeling the effects of that for a period after, but they were able to organize themselves and get themselves secured at the belay station and wait for us. So when you are going out recreating, always make sure that you have filed a trip plan with somebody and you have a means to call for help.
And the weather did not work in their favor for a bit. The pair were stuck overnight on that rock on Tuesday. But he says that the 2 climbers were not seriously hurt, and they are very grateful for that rescue. And that's what we have for you so far. You're watching CBC News BC. I'm Benita Brach. Stay with us. BC Today is coming up next. Have a good weekend.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Up first, a second shooting at a Surrey cafe owned by a Bollywood star. This is fueling ongoing concerns about businesses there being targeted. We'll talk to the opposition critic for BC's Attorney General about what he wants to see. And from zucchini to peaches to salmon, BC is bountiful. What are you doing to enjoy BC's fresh bounty right now? Plus, BC is also beautiful, and a UBC conference highlights how our forests can be therapeutic. We'll have that at 12:45. I'm Michelle Elliott. Welcome to BC Today. Thanks for joining us on CBC Radio 1, CBC Television, and live streaming as well. And you can call us now on our open line. What are you doing to enjoy BC's fresh bounty right now? We're going to give away a BC Today summer prize pack as well to one lucky caller. Just call us now. Just hit pound 690 on your cell phone or dial 1-800-825-5950, 604-669-3733. Email us at bctoday@cbc.ca. We're also watching your comments on our TikTok Live. Well, police are investigating another shooting at the Surrey cafe owned by Bollywood actor and comedian Kapil Sharma. Several shots were fired at windows of the Caps Cafe in the Newton neighborhood. And that same restaurant was targeted by gunmen a month ago. This is causing safety and security concerns for people in the area. Joining me now is Steve Kooner, the Attorney General critic for the BC Conservatives and the MLA for Richmond Queensborough. He joins me here in our studio. Good afternoon.
Thank you for having me, Michelle.
Well, thank you very much for coming down to join us here. What's your reaction to a second shooting at Caps Cafe?
Well, although we don't know the motive behind the shooting, police have not commented on the motive.
Yes.
But this was a shooting on a South Asian business. And what we have been seeing for a number of months is that the South Asian business community has been targeted with gun violence, extortion, and this violence is taking a significant toll on the South Asian business community. And we haven't seen serious measures by the provincial government on this crisis.
We'll get to what the province is doing or isn't doing. What are you hearing from businesses? What are they telling you?
Well, I'm hearing, I've actually had people reach out to me that have had shootings at their businesses. And this is like, I'm just a critic. I'm a critic for Attorney General. And this is concerning to me because people are reaching out to me and telling me about shootings. Mm-hmm. And that goes to show that they are having a certain lack of confidence in the actions by the provincial government, and that's why they're reaching out to the critic. Mm. And they are scared. I had one individual reach out to me and said that he's thinking about moving back to India. He's been here for about 30 or 35 years. He's developed, he has two properties now. One is his house, and he's been the target of extortion. And he's like, he didn't sign up for this. And he's very scared, very scared.
And, you know, the Surrey Police Service, I know the mayor, Brenda Locke as well, has been talking about we need to encourage and make people feel comfortable to come to police and report, make any kind of reports about shootings or extortion attempts. Are you hearing that people are doing that?
Well, I started releasing some press releases. It's been about over 3 months, or about 3 months ago at the beginning of May. Mm. The reason why I did that, first of all, was I attended extortion forum in 2024, just last year. Mm. And that was put on by the business community, South Asian business community. And prior to entering politics, I've been a legal business owner. And so I was very concerned. So I wasn't running in any sort of political campaign, or I wasn't in politics, but I was a concerned business owner that was doing a lot of business in the South Asian community. So I attended that forum, and the Attorney General was there. And what the people felt was that some action was going to be taken about their safety, and that's where it was kind of left off. But then fast forward to now, I did run and I got elected, and I'm now serving as a critic for Attorney General. Now I'm looking at this file to find out what was actually done, what was not. And I looked at the mandate letters to the Attorney General, looked at the mandate letter to the Attorney General soon after the election. There was no comment on the South Asian business violence that's happening. And so that was very, very concerning. And I'm like, somebody needs to be talking about this. And that's where I said that I took it upon myself as a responsibility that this issue needs to be brought forward, and needs to be brought forward in a big way.
So what are the steps that you think the province needs to be taking?
Well, first of all, the province needs to show leadership. The community is feeling that they're left to deal with the crisis on their own. And they're feeling that, the government is not really responsive. The government did, I think you alluded to it earlier, there was awareness campaign put in. And in one of my press releases, that was one of the things I was asking for, to do more awareness building with the South Asian community. I felt that was important because you're dealing with a segment of the population that comes from another country, and dealings with law enforcement are a lot different there than they are here. And our law enforcement here are actually very good law enforcement, and they can help. So people need to know about that. And so and then I felt that there needed to be a multilingual tip line. Now those two initiatives appear to be adopted by the provincial government, but has been put in the control of Crime Stoppers.
Yes.
But there's major issues with that from the community. They're seeing that the announcement was that was only $100,000 allocated for that, and it was only for 60 days. Now this crisis has been going on for a couple of years, and what are you going to do in 60 days? I do see that I've seen the reports that there was 26. There's 26 cases that are being investigated. They include new and historical cases. So there might be an element that there are more people reporting. So, but when you only allocate $100,000 in 60 days of a campaign, that's not enough to make sure that we have enough people coming. I'm hearing rumors in the community that the victims may be above 100 people. Right. So those are some of the rumors I've heard.
There are those investigations. This second shooting at the Caps Cafe in Newton, it is owned by a Bollywood star, Kapil Sharma, and from Surrey Police, we hear it's still in the early stages of the investigation. So no conclusions about motive or responsibility yet, nothing determined there yet. And there is a lot being made on social media. You say rumors, right? So claims on social media. But tell us about Caps Cafe and Kapil Sharma. What do people need to know about him?
Well,
and his role in the community.
This is a South Asian business,
Yeah.
right? Obviously, people talk about a Bollywood star owning a cafe. I think the most important thing that what people are concerned about, they're seeing, although we can't speculate about the motive on this particular shooting because the police have not commented on that, and we need to let the law enforcement do their job, and they have been doing a good job. But we gotta look at that. We have to look at the fact that a South Asian business was targeted, and we have had numerous incidents of South Asian businesses being targeted, and that's where the concern is coming from in the community. They're feeling for their safety. These are business leaders in the community. And this is at a time where our province is struggling economically, and a lot of people are talking about the economy of the province. South Asian community now makes probably about close to 10% about the province's population, and we're seeing business leaders being targeted in the community. So there is a lot of fear about safety and security in the South Asian population. That's what I'm hearing. And I'm hearing that, Steve, please keep speaking out. Please keep talking about this issue because it is very important. It doesn't matter where you live in the Lower Mainland. I'm hearing it from people in the South Asian community throughout the region. They're like, please keep talking about this.
And so at this point, what would you call on the Attorney General to do then?
Well, first of all, there were recent mandate letters from the Premier. They were just updated very recently, as of July 17th. But there's no mention in those letters about the South Asian business community and the violence that's been targeting the South Asian business community. Those mandate letters set the priorities for cabinet ministers. And specifically set the priority for the Attorney General's Department and the Public Safety Department, because those were the recent updated mandate letters from the Premier. But there's no mention in any of those two letters about the South Asian business community and the violence that it has been targeting that segment of the population. I think those mandate letters need to be revised. Because they were recently revised as of July 17th, they need to be revised again. And the Premier needs to tell the Attorney General, this is a priority. It affects a huge segment of the population. It's at a time when BC's economy is struggling and we're trying to find solutions how to deal with our economy. And South Asian business community plays a big part. And that's why we need to more aggressively, urgently deal with this crisis. And there's other things that need to be done as well, like in terms of there's federal laws in place that were recently put in place. There was the Bill C-75, Bill C-5. Bill C-5 took away some mandatory jail sentences for gun offenses. Bill C-75 did away with, made it easier for people to be let out on bail and rather than being detained. And there needs to be another letter from the Attorney General to the Attorney General of Canada stating that now we're dealing with an unprecedented crisis in the South Asian business community. And this could have very serious consequences here in BC. And so we need to take urgent action in terms of maybe repealing some of that problematic legislation.
Steve, it's very good to speak with you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Steve Kooner is the Attorney General critic for the BC Conservatives, also the MLA for Richmond Queensborough. And much more on that story, of course, throughout the day here on CBC. Meanwhile, the Abbotsford Police Department is introducing a new tool for its officers meant to restrain people with less injury. The APD says it's the first time that the department, it's the first department rather, to deploy the device in Canada. But as Kira Junos reports, it does run into south of the border.
It's the Abbotsford Police. You're under arrest. Show us your hands.
You're gonna have to come and get me if you want me.
Show us your hands.
Rob.
It goes off with a very loud bang, but this is billed as the newest non-lethal option, now officially deployed for Abbotsford police officers. So it's kind of like a big yellow chunky TV remote. This is called the bolo wrap, and an officer would load this cartridge in here, point it at someone's legs or torso, hit a black button, and send a lasso-like device at them in a split second.
If deployed at appropriate distance, it can bind the person's legs or arms, but it also has a noise aspect to it. It's loud on deployment, so the startling effect gives the officers that reactionary time to close the distance and potentially go hands-on.
He says the APD has deployed 6 of these so far. Each of them cost around $1,500, and the lasso cassettes cost around $40 or $50.
OC spray, batons. Some officers choose to carry tasers. Some officers choose to carry less lethal beanbag shotguns. This is just another tool that we believe falls in the injury potential lower than the OC spray.
But does it actually work, and will it be worth the money? BoloWrap's website says the device has around an 80% success rate in the field, and that it's supposed to buy officers time and make it safer for them to approach and gain control of a person, not necessarily eliminate a threat. The Seattle Times reported that Seattle's police department discontinued its BoloWrap in 2023 after it saw only 3 deployments in 3 years. We've reached out to Seattle Police to confirm. There are numerous other reports of police departments in the U.S. using the device and having it fail.
Stop.
I'm not coming with you.
Stop.
No.
We're not saying that this tool is designed to replace anything. This is an additional piece of kit that officers can choose to equip and hopefully, potentially, in a team environment, help them solve these situations.
The APD says it led the approval process to start using bowler wrap in BC, and for this department, it's here to stay. Keir Juno, CBC News, Abbotsford.
That's Keir Juno's reporting. It is 12:21. You're with BC Today. As we head into another BC weekend, we talked about camping etiquette yesterday on the show, and we asked you about your camping pet peeves and how can we be good camping neighbors. Taya writes, our family has camped across the province for many years. However, in the last 5 years, we've run into more obnoxious parties than we ever have. In multiple places, we've had loud groups yelling, swearing, and blasting music way into the night. Has BC Parks considered banning people who are problem causers and giving them a fine? There seems to be little recourse and little reprimand for groups that cause chronic problems. Lee writes, camping for me has to do with hearing the outdoors. I'm frustrated at the fact that any kind of music or broadcast is allowed in a BC park. I actually never camp in the summer at any kind of provincial or national park because people often don't take into consideration their noise. So for me, camping in BC has mostly gone to bad weather. I would rather have bad weather, rain, sleet, snow than somebody else's choice of music. Mike writes, my grievance is in regards to the BC Park's first come, first serve campsite system, specifically at Purdon Lake Provincial Park. The gate opens at 7 a.m., but checkout of the sites is not until 11 a.m. So there's no way to check in or wait for the first available campsite. All you can do is drive around the campsites waiting for a vacancy. It's like a game, and driving by all these sites in the morning is not fair to the campers sleeping there. What is needed is some kind of number system to allow guests to secure their sites in order of arrival. Thanks so much for all of your emails. I'd love to hear from you on anything you hear on the program. bctoday@cbc.ca is our email address. (12:24) now. You're with BC Today. I'm Michelle Elliott. Thanks for being with us. And a very happy National Sneak Some Zucchini Onto Your Neighbor's Porch Day. That's right. There's a day to do that because there is an abundance of zucchini this time of year. Add that to the peaches, the salmon, the tomatoes. And yes, this province has a lot to offer. And we're asking you right now, what are you doing to enjoy BC's fresh bounty? You can call us. Just hit pound 690 on your cell phone or call 1-800-825-5950. You can also dial 604-669-3733 or email us bctoday@cbc.ca. We're also watching your comments on our TikTok Live. I have two guests joining me now. Alden Ong is head chef at Farmer's Apprentice restaurant in Vancouver, and Laara Sadiq is owner of Lovebowl Farm in Armstrong. Hello to both of you.
Hello, hello.
Very good to speak with you. Laara, I spoke with you this morning and you said something that stood out for me. You called BC's bounty overwhelming. I imagine in a good way, of course, right?
Yes, most of the time.
Well, tell me what you're dealing with right now. What are you busy delivering? I know we're catching you in between packing and delivering some goods.
Mm-hmm. So this morning, I've just finished processing an order for a local chef here in Armstrong. She works at a beautiful little cafe here called The Clove, and they're committed to buying local. And I'm also in the midst of putting together an order for my local supermarket, which is a very hyper-local chain called Askew's. I've got an order to put out to them as well, too.
Wow. And for yourself, what are your favorites to share?
What are my favorites to share? Well, I love sharing everything. This time of year, the fall squashes, the red curry squashes are already up. The radicchio's up, garlic, curing onions, celery. I'm loving celery this year.
What is it about celery this year?
Well, it's just I'm growing it for the first time. I've never grown it before, and just the smell is intoxicating.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm loving it. And all the tomatoes and the peppers and the eggplants are coming up. They're usually a little slower up here where I am. But they're on their way. Everything's on their way. Yeah.
I love it. Chef Ong, what about you? What are your own personal favorites this time of year?
I mean, the top one would be peaches, stone fruits, and then peppers, like so many varieties. Like even like the sweet peppers are very, very good. Like obviously the spicy ones, the specialty varieties. Like if a farmer has like habaneras, which is a habanero without the spice, like I would try to get it, even though I don't have a purpose for it yet, like just preserve it.
You'll come up with something.
Yeah. And then obviously like tomatoes, even though like I personally don't eat fresh tomatoes, but I would make an exception for the summer and like BC tomatoes specifically.
Do you have a favorite? Like, do you have a favorite kind of tomato?
Yeah. I mean, I try to, a lot of chefs in the city would try to get from Millen, who is the farmer at Stony Paradise. And, he makes the best, he grows the best tomatoes. And I think Sun Gold is one of the best. But he also has a really good hybrid variety called New Girls. And that's also my favorite tomato.
Alden, I started with zucchini, just talking about how much there is. And in fact, people actually leave them on their neighbors' porches because they have so much of it. What do you think can be done with zucchini besides doing that, besides leaving it on your neighbor's porch?
Well, I think you can preserve it, maybe not like can it or freeze it, but you can, I mentioned a while ago, it's like, because there's so much like water content in zucchini and it has a very mild flavor. You can, char it and then preserve it in like a vinaigrette and it will last for a longer time. And then, or you can make a sauce out of it. We do it with yellow zucchini. We slice it thin, cook it down with like a little bit of olive oil and salt, and then puree it. And then you can freeze that. It's a secure sauce for like pasta. It'll be great as a pasta sauce, very mild, very fresh. And then, it lends itself in a variety of ways.
Well, Laara, what about you? How do you like to enjoy zucchini?
Because this time of year in the heat, it grows so quickly on the vine. I mean, it's not possible for a zucchini to, in 24 hours, put on an inch and sometimes two.
Oh, my goodness.
So I have to get out first thing in the morning before I do my field rounds. I'm harvesting zucchini and scallopinis every morning and put they hold. So I also cook as well too. I mean, I'm loving this time of year. I'm just loving fresh grilled zucchini with a little bit of lemon juice, olive oil, some good Malden salt, maybe a little bit of fresh garlic. Yeah. I have a harvest box program, like a CSA harvest box program. My market is on the farm every Sunday, and I bake for the kids every Sunday. And I usually try and use something that's that's coming off the field and going into their harvest bins and on their plate. So for this weekend, I've done a double chocolate zucchini loaf. I mean, if worse comes to worse, if you get those mammoth giant ones, if you miss a few, you can also scoop them out and you can do sort of like a ratatouille and you can serve it in them, which is nice sometimes too.
Oh, that's very nice. Yes, it can be the vessel itself.
It can be. Yep.
I'd love to hear more from you both on enjoying BC's bounty, and we're going to take some more calls or some calls on this in our next half hour as well. And I know, Laara, that you are very passionate about sustainability and food security, so we'll certainly talk to you both about that. Chef Alden Ong is the head chef at Farmer's Apprentice, and Laara Sadiq owns Lovebowl Farm in Armstrong. So yes, the fruit bowl of BC. We're going to take more of your calls, and they'll come back with us to talk more about enjoying BC's bounty. We'll go to Gail in Vancouver in a few minutes, and then we'll talk about forest therapy and all the science that's gone into the ways that forests can benefit us mentally. That's all coming up after the CBC News Update with Rob Zimmerman.
Good afternoon. The out-of-control fire burning above Cameron Lake on Vancouver Island grew minimally overnight, but the BC Wildfire Service says the situation will likely change as temperatures rise today and through the weekend. The service says in an update on the Wesley Ridge fire that it expects more smoke over the area as the blaze finds unburned fuels to consume. Abbotsford police are looking for a number of suspects who allegedly drove around the city on Wednesday night shooting at pedestrians with an airsoft or pellet gun. Police are looking into 5 separate incidents over a 3.5-hour period. At least one person suffered a minor injury. And the union representing BC paramedics wants an inquiry into the issue of paramedics dying by suicide. The union says in the past 6 months, 4 of its members have taken their own lives. Ambulance Paramedics of BC says stress from the job has contributed to an unprecedented number of mental health claims. And now the forecast on the North Coast. Periods of rain this afternoon with a high of 17. Highs reaching 25 with increasing cloudiness in the Peace. In the central interior, including Prince George, cloudy with a high of 21. Highs in the mid-20s with some sunshine in the West Kootenay, mainly cloudy in the East Kootenay. In the southern interior, including Kelowna, mainly sunny with a high of 27. And for Metro Vancouver, Greater Victoria, and the Fraser Valley, a mix of sun and cloud this afternoon with highs around 21. That's your CBC News Update from Vancouver.
Rob, thank you very much. Now, I know you are actually a big fan of the air fryer. Which
that's true.
I have been converted to.
Yeah,
thank you very much
right? Sure,
for that. And I have to say, we've been talking about zucchini, and one of my favorite things is to slice up some zucchini, coat it in olive oil, and throw it in the air fryer.
That makes sense. Yeah, the air fry. Everything is better in the air fryer.
It's actually kind of true. And I saw my first cooking show yesterday that actually featured a recipe in the air fryer. Would you believe it?
Featured a recipe? Really?
Yeah.
The first recipe you've ever seen?
Yes.
Wow. And what was it?
It was actually pork roast.
Oh.
It was amazing, and they did it in the air fryer, and it looked delicious. So there you go. So thank you. I have you.
Okay. You're welcome. Anytime. Anytime you want appliance advice.
Yes, cooking lessons from Rob Zimmerman. Thanks, Rob. Have a good weekend.
Thanks.
That's Rob Zimmerman in the CBC Vancouver newsroom. And yes, how are you enjoying the fresh bounty of British Columbia right now? Love to hear from you. Just hit pound 690 on your cell phone or dial 1-800-825-5950, 604-669-3733. You can also just email us, bctoday@cbc.ca, or comment on our TikTok Live. My guest for this discussion, Laara Sadiq is owner of Lovebowl Farm in Armstrong. Alden Ong is head chef at Farmer's Apprentice restaurant in Vancouver. Let's take some calls. Right now, though, Gail is on the line in Vancouver. Hi, Gail. Did you want to talk about zucchini?
Hi. Zucchini and everything that people are producing in their own gardens.
Yes, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that I really appreciate the fact that I was driving home the other day on one of the side streets of Vancouver, and someone that obviously has a prolific garden had put a table out in front of their home with a whole bunch of veggies on it, some beets and marrow and zucchinis and cucumbers, and said, please help yourself.
Wow.
And it was wonderful, and I think that would be nice if more people did that when they overproduce. But I've always enjoyed zucchini, and when I had my own garden, I only live in a condo now, but when I had my own garden, yes, I love zucchini in cakes, and instead of apples, I would use zucchini. And my latest thing is grating zucchini and putting it with macaroni and cheese.
Oh, wow.
It's moist is good, and of course, the kids get veggies whether they want it or not. So
Yes.
there's lots of things because it is so moist. So it does make a good substitute in any kind of a muffin or bread or cakes. And I don't freeze it anymore because it has got such high water content, and I've never heard of canning it, but something to think about.
Yeah, there you go. Gail, thank you very much for your call. And in fact, when it comes to canning and preserving, Andrea writes, I feel so blessed to live in an area that year after year provides delicious, nutritious, bountiful food sources. I've been processing salmon I caught from the river, canning local cherries, peaches from the Okanagan. Oh, yes. Pickles and tomatoes from my greenhouse, freezing and baking all the wild huckleberries and blueberries. Also enjoying the tradition of trading goods over my fence. From farm fresh eggs to kale, zucchini, and raspberries. So exactly that. When you overproduce one thing, you can trade it with your neighbor for another. Really good email. Thank you very much, Andrea. Let's go back to our guests here. And Chef Ong, yes, any advice for canning or preserving?
Yeah, I just thought about it actually after the call. Zucchini might lend itself very well for the Italian style pickle, which is olive oil pickle. Usually they'll do giardiniera, which is arguably the most famous Italian style pickle. It has basically cauliflower, eggplant, zucchini, and I've done it before where you pickle the veggies, and then you salt them, you pickle them in vinegar, you drain them, and then you cover them in olive oil, and then you can them, and it's great as a side pickle or as a condiment for sandwiches or on its own.
Oh, wow.
And I think zucchini, after you salt them, it changes the structure. It gets, it's like a cucumber, or it gets more sturdy, and so you can preserve zucchini in that way if you want to can them.
And what about for you, Laara? What about preserving the bounty for later on in the year? Any tips?
Well, I do can at the end of the year. It's usually my Roma tomatoes that I grow, San Marzanos. I'll also, I'm a bit of a menace during canning season. Like if there's anything in the field that's in excess towards the end of season, like if it's not moving, I'll can it. So I've got carrots. I do little baby onions. Spring onions and garlic. The standards, beets, pickles, things like that. But I like to put together interesting combinations, cabbages as well, too. I'm a big fan of the quick rice vinegar quick pickles as well, too. Those are great to bring on camping and canoe trips.
Oh, yeah.
The other thing it just that it just made me think with you talking about preserving and canning it in olive oil. I'm South Asian, and we do pickles that we call achar, which are often things like limes, lemons, mangoes, roots, stuff like that. But that kind of a pickle with something like zucchini, making a zucchini achar, thank you. I think I'm going to try that this fall.
That sounds absolutely amazing. And it's funny you bring that up, achar. I'm going to go back to Alden here because I'm of Filipino descent, and as are you. Achar sounds to me like achara.
Yeah, it is. I'm pretty sure it came from the Indian word, or possibly, there will be, there were Indian settlers in the Philippines for 3 years, right? And I would imagine one or two people would have exchanged this sort of preservation method and the name as well.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you more about that, about your background as well. But Catherine emailed us about canning. We have lots of tomatoes and blackberries in our backyard and our greenhouse. We make jams and salsa, spaghetti sauce, and can them for the rest of the year. This weekend, we are buying Freestone peaches and canning them, usually around 52 500 ml jars, one for every week of the year. Oh my goodness, you got a lot of work ahead of you there, Catherine. Thank you very much for the email. And our phone number, again, just hit pound 690 on your cell phone, or 1-800-825-5950, 604-669-3733. Keith is on the line in Vancouver now. Hi, Keith.
Hi there. How are you?
I'm well. Pardon me. Go ahead.
Yeah, a couple of things. You were talking about zucchini there earlier in the air fryer. What I've been making is it can't get any more simple. I like recipes where the effort is a 5 and the result is a 10 kind of thing. But simply putting a batter on the zucchini and air frying them, and then a little spritz of oil. It does need a little bit of oil, but you get that kind of deep fried, crispy coating. And then making a really good honey mustard with that. So honey mustard and a shot of mayo in there.
Oh my.
It's just really quick and simple. A little bit of work with the breading, a little messy like that. But I've been doing that, and I'm actually going to make that when I get home in a second here. It's just, I think I heard on CBC maybe 10 years ago, one of the hosts, it might have been Stephen Quinn, said you can't turn your back in BC without finding the zucchini on your doorstep. And this is the season for that. Last one for recipes, super easy effort, looks really great, is clafouti. So you can make it with a few different things, but cherries are really good. And obviously cherries are in season. Just a thin, quick batter. Just Google it, clafouti, just how it sounds. And looks really nice, super tasty, quick and fast. And it'll look good on the table.
Oh, absolutely. I think Stephen was talking about finding zucchini on his porch just the other day, actually, as well. And it's so true. I also love that Laara talked about how anything that doesn't move, she would like to can. So nothing is safe, essentially. Keith, thank you very much. Wilma is calling us next at Haggensburg. Hi, Wilma.
Hi there.
And did you want to talk about zucchini as well?
Yes, in the days when I grew zucchini, because I don't garden anymore now, we had 2 uses for zucchini that I haven't heard. One is zucchini milk.
Zucchini milk?
You take the zucchini you tripped over that wasn't there yesterday, and you peel it so your milk's not green. You take the seeds out and you blenderize it. You can freeze it in 2-cup lots if that's what you use when you normally bake with milk, and use it as a milk substitute.
Wow. And what is the consistency?
Once it's blenderized, it's basically like milk.
Oh, wow. Okay. Gonna have to try it. Yeah, go ahead.
The other trick we heard, and at that point, Mom used to make, if she made pies to freeze, she made 5 at a time, is using zucchini instead of apple.
Mm-hmm.
Again, peel it and get rid of the seeds and slice it. Now, when we got the recipe to begin with, it said steam the apples first, and we didn't. It probably would have been wiser if we did, because by the time my husband finished the last of the 5 apple pies, and we waited about a year to say, well, there was no apple in there, you know.
Sneaky. Again, it's also sneaky.
Yeah, and I mean, the spices in the apple pie just mask the fact that they aren't apples.
Yeah.
They were a little bit rubbery in ours. So I thought you'd like to try those.
Zucchini milk. I haven't heard of that, Wilma. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Great suggestion. Laara, do you want to talk about that a little bit? You talked about baking earlier too, right, with zucchini?
Yeah.
Zucchini milk. Have you heard of that?
I have not heard of zucchini milk.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. That is a new one to me as well. Going to have to try it. Joan emailed, I make about 22 quarts of the best garlic dill pickles every fall. I tried doing the same with zucchini. It was the worst tasting item I've ever had. Okay, so maybe not try to make dill pickles with zucchini milk, apparently. Laara, let me talk to you about what's happening with farmers right now in terms of, yes, there is bounty, but at the same time, concerns around food security and sustainability.
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, I can speak for myself because I'm having my own experience here and making choices here. But what I do know is that, yes, that is something that is very much on the minds of all the farmers that I know in the region. And as we enjoy the bounty of the season, I think it's also, for me, it's really important to always remember that we are very much in a food security crisis on these lands.
Mm-hmm.
The price of food, fresh food in particular, it's not just about south of the border tariffs. We live in an area of bounty, and there are so many people and so many families who cannot afford good fresh food. It's something I'm quite acquainted with because as a young single mom, I encounter this all the time. One of the reasons why I moved from cooking into farming was, first of all, I wanted to be responsible for what I'm putting in people's bellies with love right from the get-go, but also being able to make some choices and push the needle on food security. One of the things that I do here, there's many things that I do, and there's many things, like there's lots of other, so many farms around here, Fresh Valley Farm, Shuswap Organics, lots of other farms who are really, really putting community and food accessibility front and center. What I am choosing to do is I grow for the Armstrong Food Bank. And it started sort of last year just as a, whatever excess I had, I sent to them. And then I started chatting with them and understanding that, in fact, with all the bounty around here, they feed about 60 to 70 households a month. That's just in Armstrong. And they spend anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000 in grocery stores on food. And a large chunk of that is perishable. There are farmers who donate, and lots of the farmers in the region, donate all over the place when they can. But if the food bank is having to go to grocery stores to buy fresh produce in a region where there is so much and we all have so much excess, there is an issue. There's many ways that we can deal with that as farmers, but we can do something about it because we grow and we produce and we distribute food. So we can definitely push the needle on that. There's also local restaurants, chefs who choose to buy local. My local, chain food store, Askews, hats off to them for buying local. There's many ways that we can provide food for everyone at prices that everyone can afford. And as much as I support the farmers markets, not everyone can afford the prices. So what do we do? And how do we do it? And do we do it regularly, not just during holidays?
It's certainly something that you've given a lot of thought to, and absolutely the affordability of food has become an ongoing and really heightened concern for so many people. Yeah, I really appreciate speaking to both of you and on that issue, as well as being able to enjoy what we do have right now. I hope you both have a great weekend and enjoy canning, baking, grilling, all of it. Okay, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You take care. That's Chef Alden Ong, who's head chef at Farmer's Apprentice, and Laara Sadiq is the owner of Lovebowl Farm in Armstrong. We have so many emails that have come in on this as well. Let's take a look here. Let's see, bctoday@cbc.ca is our email address again. Let me just go through some of our emails. I think I've lost my email queue here. Okay, let's go through. Someone writing from Penticton, sunny Okanagan. And this is Tanya writing, I'm sure someone already said this, but zucchini fritters and spiraled zucchini as pasta. Yes, of course, sauteed just a little and then topped with homemade basil pesto. And Bobby writes, we enjoy treating ourselves with produce from local farmers. There is so much variety here on the Saanich Peninsula on Vancouver Island. We like to cook seasonal products. As for zucchini, I love it cooked on the barbecue with a bit of high seasoning salt sprinkled on top. I either eat it as is or put it on sandwiches. Oh, that's wonderful. Kyla writes from Victoria, I'm on the road with my family traveling back to Victoria from a trip to Penticton. We are stopping to stock up on fresh fruit and veggies in Karameus. I especially love fresh Okanagan peaches and apricots. We'll also be sure to stock up on garlic and tomatoes. We live in such a beautiful and bountiful province. It's wonderful to be able to shop local. Lisa writes, it's delicious, sweet, and nourishing figs, peaches, plums, strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, and those first transparent apples. I think I've finally reached my limit and can stop. It is so good, but such a shame when it all comes ripe at once. I freeze it, I dehydrate it, or I make chutney. Thank you very much for those emails. Lots more coming in. bctoday@cbc.ca is our address. 12:50 now, and yes, more about enjoying nature this weekend. Right now, UBC is holding a conference to explore the benefits of forest therapy. The International Conference on Forest Therapy that unites scientists, clinicians, and policymakers will explore how nature can help reduce stress. And Dr. Guangyu Wang is Associate Dean at UBC's Faculty of Forestry, and he's the conference lead. He's taken a break from the conference to join us right now. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us, Dr. Wang.
Thank you so much for having me.
I know it kind of makes sense, right? We can feel it when we're out for a hike or just among trees, but what does the science actually tell us about the impact on our emotions and our brains when we are out in the forest?
Yes, it's an excellent question. You know, in Vancouver, there's such nice forest, and most people doing physical exercise into the forest, but not many people are doing mental exercise in the forest. So in the forest therapy, we do quite a lot of research on how to slow yourself in the forest and to immerse yourself into the forest environment, to inhale all the chemicals emitted from forest, and that largely reduce in mental stress and also boost your immune system.
What is actually happening to our bodies when we're doing that?
Yeah, you know, the most of the time, our blood pressure will be largely reduced, and you can your immune system will improve, and also that can help you to give you totally relax by yourself in the forest. So in forest therapy and forest bathing, you like to do the bathing in the forest.
Now, I know you have visitors from around the world speaking at this conference.
Yes.
Why is that? What can we learn from different cultures when it comes to, as you called it, forest bathing?
Yes, you know, the forest, the therapy or forest bathing, they have a lot of the a culture connection, and so the people from all over the world, including scientists, healthcare provider, park manager, indigenous leader, they all come here to see how the forest, in a different forest, like in the tropical forest, in temperate forest, in the subtropical forest, what kind of how forest can be benefit to the people, and how the culture was influenced into the forest therapy medical effect.
Are there specifics you can point to that we can look at as examples?
Yes, like in Japan, it's a Shinto. It's one of their religion. So they are all very connected to the nature. And people was feel when you are in forest in the forest, they are all connected into their ancestors. A lot of like in our North America, we have all the indigenous people have their indigenous knowledge, and they have the healing power of the theory of the healing power to the human body as well. So it's a different culture. They have a different aspect of the forest therapy.
So what can we learn then? How can all of this knowledge be incorporated into our daily lives?
Yes, you know, in the highlight of this conference, we are using the AI and the big data to do the analysis. This is the one of the cutting edge technology, and we can bring people together from different parts of the world, different cultural background, different health condition, and to see how the forest can be used for a different population.
And are there actual therapies or clinicians who are incorporating this then?
Yes. Yes. In Vancouver, you know, we had a green prescription, and people can go to the, if you have the stress, you can go to the doctor, and right now it's about 5,000 doctor can prescribe the green prescription to go to the forest. So this is one way for the people benefiting people in Vancouver.
Right, I heard about that. Actually prescribing time in nature. How long is ideal?
You know, we based on the research, if you can go to the forest 20 minutes a day, or you can go to the forest 2 hours a week, that would be ideal.
Wow, just 20 minutes a day.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yes.
Okay, but that might be easier said than done for some people, though. You know, what if, although, yes, in Vancouver, we are blessed in many parts of the province, of course, but what if you don't have easy access to a forest?
Yes, this is what the research we have done at UBC. We do the simulation, mimic the nature to bring all the healthy element into our indoor. So we're doing a lot of indoor forest therapy research to see what kind of combination, like what kind of landscape, soundscape, what kind of native iron, and what is the aromatic therapy can be aromatic effect can be used in the indoor setting. So and to see what kind of population impact in what kind of combination. So this is our research here. So yes.
What can be done to, I guess, increase the benefits then of forest therapy? What can be done to ensure that forests are taken care of and that we do have access to this kind of therapy?
Yes, in Canada, you know, we have quite a lot of community that now is suffering because of the closing of the mill. The forest right now is recovering, and a lot of city government and the provincial government, they have put very big efforts on to plant a tree to restore the ecosystem. As individual, we like to go to the forest. We see the forest is one of the healthy benefit to take care of a forest.
There we go. Dr. Wang, all the best with this conference, and I'm going to spend 20 minutes now in the forest today. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Dr. Guangyu Wang is Associate Dean at UBC's Forestry Faculty.